led by none other than Advocate Consultation. Will allow me to apologize for the slight delay.
Follow this press conference. I also would like to thank you, members of the Fourth Estate, to come and share with us the resolutions of the National Standing Committee that was done yesterday. Basically, I think before going into the statement, there shouldn't be any panic, as I have witnessed since yesterday. Over this press conference. I did not come here to declare war or a revolution. I've come here to share with you the resolutions of our National Standing Committee, which sat yesterday for over 5 hours and made very crucial deliberations on a wide range of issues that are currently affecting our country. So I'm going to share with you what we resolved as the leadership of the Movement for Democratic Change Alliance under the leadership of Advocate Nelson Chamisa. And also let me emphasize this. We are united in every aspect that we do. The people's cause and the revolution is in safe hands. People must not panic. Everything is under control. So realizing that the lockdown has been abused to lock down only the people in the MDC Alliance, to ambush the people with Supreme Court judgment and recalling of the people's members of parliament, acknowledging the desperate attempts by the regime to destabilize, weaken and destroy the People's Party, the MDC Alliance, a voluntary association, by seeking to impose and force it to accept puppet leaders imposed upon it by the system, rejecting the illegal act in Parliament to illegally and unlawfully recall MDC Alliance MPs at the instruction of imposters purporting to represent that party, further rejecting Speaker of Parliament abuse of Parliament to fight MDC Alliance for insisting on Emmerson Mnangagwa's illegitimacy. This act has taken illegitimacy to Parliament. Only an illegitimate president will preside over this kind of a circus. State institutions are being abused to destroy the opposition, using and abusing the instruments of the state. Nobody who works with the regime against the people will ever succeed. The will of the people will ever triumph. Convinced that what is being witnessed is a war by Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF through proxies against the MDC Alliance, having not forgiven the party for defeating him in the 2018 general elections, the end game is to totally annihilate the opposition and establish a one-party state. Concerned that the biggest crime that the MDC Alliance and its candidate committed was to garner over 2 million votes in the last presidential elections, which is a serious threat to the system and the reason for this frantic effort to destroy or eliminate the MDC Alliance. They want the MDC Alliance to join Poland. They want the MDC Alliance President Advocate Nelson Chamisa to accept to be the leader of the opposition in Parliament. They wanted MDC Alliance to accept the stolen election outcome. They wanted the MDC Alliance MPs to recognize Emmerson Mnangagwa as a legitimate president of Zimbabwe after the stolen and disputed elections of 2018. They want to tell the MDC Alliance to partner and not to oppose the tyrannical and authoritarian regime of Emmerson Mnangagwa. Therefore, in this context, the National Standing Committee of the MDC Alliance met yesterday in Harare and made the following resolutions. 1. The Standing Committee noted the perverse and insidious attempt by the ZANU-PF and its proxies to dismember the MDC Alliance by executing a coup against the legitimately elected leadership of the MDC Alliance under the guise of implementing the equally insidious judgment of the Supreme Court, which seeks to foist ZANU-PF proxies as leaders of the MDC Alliance in brazen violation of the MDC Constitution. The Standing Committee thus resolved to reject in total and with utter contempt the ZANU-PF and its proxies' attempt to foist its cousins and partners as leaders of the MDC Alliance. All MDC Alliance MPs will forthwith suspend all participation in Parliament and disengage from all platforms in which the party has to interact with ZANU-PF, pending consultations with the relevant constituencies of the party, that is the electorate and Zimbabweans at large, on the decision for a total withdrawal from Parliament. The party reiterates that only the MDC Alliance has the power to lawfully recall or redeploy its members of Parliament elected under its ticket. No one else has the mandate to do so except only the MDC Alliance. The MDC Alliance, in the meantime, is engaging the National Executive Council and the National Council of the party and all other organs and the people of Zimbabwe in general on a robust program of action to resolve the legitimate national question which Zimbabwe has been confronted with since Emmerson Mnangagwa installed himself to be the president of this country. The MDC Alliance will roll out a program of action together with civil society, professional bodies, churches, labor, business, war veterans, political parties, women and youth groups. The MDC Alliance will not accept the holding of a ZANU-PF organized extraordinary Congress in the MDC. ZANU-PF cannot write another political party's constitution and hold a Congress on its behalf to impose a puppet leadership that would be malleable to Emmerson Mnangagwa as the principal leader of that political party. The MDC Alliance has noted that Morgan Komish, Douglas Monjora and Elias Mzuri have decided to cooperate with ZANU-PF and the state. They therefore have expelled themselves from the MDC Alliance and are forthwith relieved of their positions and membership in the party. They are further withdrawn from all positions to which they had been deployed by the party. Replacements have been made and shall be announced in due course. The party resolved to take all the necessary steps to recover all the gains of the people's democratic struggle. The Supreme Court judgment has engendered an illegality by seeking to extend the expired mandate of the 2014 structures, which had since expired. The term of office of all 2014 structures expired in October 2019, and the toxic judgment illegal seeks to give a Lazarus moment by seeking to resurrect the expired mandate of the 2014 MDCT structures. The National Standing Committee took note of the COVID-19 pandemic and the dislocated livelihoods of the vulnerable and the majority of Zimbabweans who are surviving in the informal sector. The illegitimate regime of Emmerson Mnangagwa has provided no safety nets whatsoever to assist the despondent Zimbabweans. They have instead deployed the vending stalls where the majority of Zimbabweans are making a living through informal trading. Pursuant to our Agenda 2020 program of action, we forward the 5 fights that we, the people of Zimbabwe, must pursue this year without fail as follows: the fight for the people's government, reforms and the return to legitimacy, the fight for a better life, dignity and livelihoods, the fight against corruption, the fight for rights, freedoms, security of persons and rule of law, the fight in defense of the Constitution and the constitutionalism. We now call upon the people of Zimbabwe to build a broad consensus and united front for all progressive citizens to address the national crisis. So I thank you. God bless you, members of the Fourth Estate. This is the statement of the resolutions by the National Standing Committee of the Movement for Democratic Change under the leadership of Advocate Nelson Chamisa. I leave it to you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Joksikala, for taking us through the position of the party as it stands right now. At this particular moment, I'm sure you've been listening, and probably some of us might have questions or other areas of clarification. I'll allow you guys to raise those questions, but we are going to do it in this format. I'll take first 3 questions, then you respond at once, then we'll take another batch of questions, 3 again, then probably we'll be done by that time. Over to you, fellow comrades. So I would also kindly ask you probably to introduce yourself, where you're coming from, then you pose your question to us for a possible response. So my brother over there.
My name is John Basil from South Africa, SABC. I wanted to find out whether you deliberated on some of the possibilities whereby members of parliament might resist to pull up according to the resolution that you have read, because one, they benefited from the vehicles just recently, they are still yet to pay off those vehicles, and secondly, maybe those monthly allowances that they get as well, and secondly, the resolution gave for the MPs to pull out until maybe something is resolved. Is it a temporary measure, and how long is it, or is permanent until the next election?
No, I think, Mr. Chairman, let me answer question by question so that we will not confuse each other as we go on. The first thing, whether members of parliaments, some of them will reject the position of the standing committee for them to pull out of parliament. I think if you could have carefully listened to the resolution by the standing committee, is that we are going to engage in a consultative process with the organs of the party to make sure that this is a decision owned by the people, not to be imposed by the leadership of the party. Secondly, the other issue you must understand is that we are in a struggle and in a revolution. We are not here to make individuals happy, but we are doing it for the common interests of the people of Zimbabwe. So individual interests are superseded by the common interests of the people of Zimbabwe. So the decision that we are going to take will be oblivious of what the people of Zimbabwe want. They are not interested whether the MP is a motor vehicle or not. That is secondary to them. The struggle of today is not being fought on the interest of the member of parliament, of individual acquiring motor vehicles or having allowances like what you are trying to put it. Universal internal agreement is only a concept that has been enjoyed only on human rights. That human rights issues have got a universal character, not the issue of struggle. The issue of struggle is that people are entitled to their own opinions. Those who would not want to move out of parliament are entitled to do that. But our call is for the cause of the people of Zimbabwe, not individual interests of individual MPs. So it is very clear that our position is based on the interests of the people, not individual members of parliament. Next question.
Okay, thank you so much. I saw your hand from Ngomamugo.
Then you talk about the MDC Alliance rejecting to be pushed into a Congress, into an extraordinary Congress. I just wanted to find out, are you suggesting that you block the holding of the support Congress?
Why should we, the Zimbabwe that we want to build in this country will respect the democratic rights of each and every citizen. Those who are interested to associate themselves with the ZANU-PF sponsored extraordinary Congress of the MDC can go ahead. We will not destabilize them. It is their democratic right to associate and dissociate. This is a society we all desire to create in our country. We are not trying to create and procreate another dictatorship. We people must be free to do whatever they want. They must be free to do what we will not even care or listen to them. But ours is that we are going to pursue the path of liberating our people from the yokes of the interests of from the yokes of a dictator called Emmerson Mnangagwa.
Okay, thank you for that, Honorable Vice Chair. Yes, there's a hand here.
I wanted to find out, Honorable, you say that the MPs are now pulling out, and then you later raised on the concerns of the people's rights.
We did not say they are pulling out, we said they are disengaging to come from any cooperation with the ZANU-PF or anything that has anything to do with the ZANU-PF. So the issue, whether there will be a pullout or not, will come out from the consultative process that we are going to have, 1, with the National Executive, 2, with the National Council, 3, with the organs of the party, 4, with the general supporters of our revolution in Zimbabwe. So specifically at the present moment is disengagement from anything to do with parliament, from anything that is associated with ZANU-PF. The final verdict will come from those consultations that I've told you. Thank you.
I was going to say, with the COVID currently happening and some of the MPs being involved in some of the programs that the parliament had maybe come to a conclusion to say maybe leadership should be involved, does that not then dismiss your interest of having the people's interest at heart? Because some of them, I understand, have been helping people, but then what then happens, especially now that we have a pandemic that is currently going on?
But what you have to understand is that we must be able to balance. We are victims of abuse by an illegitimate system. Not only ourselves, but the people of Zimbabwe have been subjects of abuse by Emmerson Mnangagwa's government since his commission of the military coup on the 17th of November 2017. We have had people who have been shot point blank in the streets. I witnessed a number of people who have been abused and killed from the 14th of January to the 17th of January 2019. After the citizen demonstrations that were called by the ZCTU and other civic society movements. We have been under abuse in parliament by Jacob Mdenda, where he treated the MDC Alliance as not a legitimate political organization in our country. We cannot continue tolerating the abuse of our people and ourselves. There are times when we say enough is enough. We have drawn the line in the sand to say we can no longer accept to be abused. We as a legitimate political organization in our country, we are citizens of our country, we are entitled to pursue our God-given rights for us to play politics in our motherland, for us to give an alternative views on how our government should be governed. So specifically whether MPs have been assisting, they will continue. Those who have got a call to assist our people will continue. Even myself, I will continue using my own personal resources to assist people in my own constituency. But what you have to understand is that in 2018, I contested against an MDCT candidate in my constituency? How would I be donated to MDCT of Thokozani Kupe today when she was a political competitor in 2018? Some of these things must be understood from the perspective that Emerson Mnangagwa's agenda is to obliterate the forceful and major voice of the people in Zimbabwe, which is the MDC Alliance. We will reject that. We will deal with him. We are not fools, and we are determined. And we are very serious on that.
Okay, we'll take 3 more questions and we wrap up this session. Mukoma, Blessed, Tony, and is there another end that I might not have observed? So if those 2 last questions, then we wrap up this particular session.
Honorable Vice Chairperson of the MDC Alliance, your party has been accused by people of just making a lot of threats and not being able to act at the end of the day. Is this not one of the high sound?
Would you think that I would leave my job, my wife at home, to come here and give empty threats? Do you look at my face properly? Do you think I'm a man of empty threats? Me leaving my wife at home to come and give empty threats? Hold on and wait. Even if today, if I want to call pandemonium in the country, write this letter, I know what will happen. Give us time. The time will come. The time will come. Don't rush us. That hour will come and you get it. You have been pleading for it for a long time. We are now going to give you.
I also wanted to know, have you considered approaching the courts in this issue that you call an illegal withdrawal of your MPs from Parliament?
Definitely, the affected members of Parliament have got the right to seek remedy in the courts. It's within their rights for them to seek whatever remedy they want. We won't stop anybody to approach the courts to seek remedy. But you must also read it from the angle that since the MDC Alliance approached the court to seek relief on quite a number of many political disputations, we have never obtained joy from the courts. So, people might approach the courts, but they must be oblivious that behind their mind, they will not be able to obtain joy. Maybe it will be just there to expose how our judicial system is sometimes compromised on issues concerning political matters.
Okay, Tony, here's the last question then.
If I may just add on what you said, that was my question, but I wanted to understand, Honorable Scholar, technically, can you say that we have officially recalled, as a matter of clarity, can you say you have officially recalled MDC MPs from Parliament?
My brother, I don't know what you want to describe as technical. This thing doesn't need any interpretation. Currently, it's disengagement process. That is the first step. We have currently said disengage from any process of Parliament and on anything that ZANU-PF will do. The next step will be the consultation with the National Executive. What is the National Executive's opinion whether our members of Parliament should remain in Parliament or not? The third step will be us consulting the National Council, which is a bigger body, which is the supreme decision making organ in the party in between congresses, to see how what is their view on the way forward. Then we'll go to our organs of the party, because don't forget also these members of Parliament were elected by the people. We want to hear what their respective constituencies is, their opinion on the member of Parliament whom they elected to be in Parliament, whether they are in agreement that the member of Parliament should remain in Parliament or must be pulled out. Then after that, we will consult the general membership and supporters of the party in Zimbabwe. Then after that, we will make a final decision. At the present moment, it's just a disengagement. The MDC leadership cannot impose its decision from top to bottom. We don't operate that way. People are owners of the decisions of their leadership as they have mandated us. So basically, that is what we are going to do. We have just try to give them direction. This is the direction that we think. Please debate over it. And then after that, we will see what the people and our constituencies will say. After that, then we'll make a final decision. We don't want to, we are not Mnangagwa or ZANU-PF. We impose their decisions upon the people. Let the people own decisions. That is the process that we are going to do. Final question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, they've been threats by the other faction to take over the harvesters, the headquarters. What are you going to do about it?
We wish them good luck. That's my answer. Good luck to them. That's all. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Comrades and friends, for...
Thank you so much, Honorable Scala, for the clarity that is undiluted with regards to the way forward that we are going to be pursuing. I think we all need to be reminded, including Mnangagwa, that the pregnancy of a cat will not bother a bull in the crow. We are going to remain focused on our Agenda 2020, and these side shows will never deter us from bringing change into the country called Zimbabwe. Thank you, comrades, for spending your time to join us on this particular day.
Yeah.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bueno,